really quick, if you guys want to turn it around and show the splitter and range selector.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we also have a, I believe that button is what? It's on man trucks. It's like a clutch button or
so
something?
on MAN trucks, I'm not sure. So for MAN trucks, this button is what they call the comfort shift. I think it's basically some kind of, it activates the clutch. So instead of using the clutch pedal to change gears, that like you would on a manual transmission, you can use that to change between gears. But when you come to a stop, of course, you still have to use the clutch. But we have that button on both sides of the shifter, so you can assign it to anything you want. Of course, for some people that would be useful as an engine brake button, for example, to toggle the engine brake. And
that's the way I have it set up as like an easy Jake button, right?
Yep.
And I use the bottom one there as my range selector to go from the bottom box to the top box, and then the top one as the gear splitter.
And you have two, what do you call these? Thumbsticks? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So those can be used to control.
Oh, that's an air horn button?
Yeah, that's an air horn button. And these can be used for looking around. And
so it's like a mouse.
It's like a mouse. It also works as a mouse cursor. So the way it's set up in the game, when it recognizes this, there are UI possibilities to control the UI just with the product alone. So this one will be for the mouse, and this one will be used for adjusting your viewport when you're using the photo mode. So you use the left one to walk around, and then you use the right one to change the angle of the camera. Oh yeah, someone mentioned that. Yes, it comes with a copy of American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator too. Yeah. So when you get this wheel, we want you to have the full experience.
But what stole my attention the first is the finish of the actual the wheel, like it's wrapped in imitation leather.
Yes.
And guys, check this out. It's also has stitching.
Like on a regular vehicle, right? On a real
and it
truck.
actually feels like holding a real like material of a real steering wheel.
Exactly.
It's good quality too. Like the steering wheel is like stable. It's got a good smooth feel to it. Like it's not clunky or notchy. Like it's just very smooth.
So there we've also put in the function in the game where you can run through the input wizard, and then once you go through it, it will automatically recognize this wheel.
Really?
The controls available, and it will assign everything based on
like
what you
see. The correct mapping will
so
be
you
done?
don't have to go in and press all 103 buttons to assign it manually.
Nice.
So if you go through the input wizard, you can just like for example, this button will be to raise the left window. That will already be assigned. Everything here that you see is the default assignment. It will be done in the game once you load it. But of course, you can choose to reassign the functions if you want. There are some buttons that are not actually assigned. For example, there's an auxiliary 1, auxiliary 2.
Which is for beacons, for example.
You could do those stuff if you want to.
We actually already have a switch for beacons up there on the right. So if there's anything, any other function,
those are for beacons.
Yeah, true.
If there's any other function you feel like you might need, you have two buttons there you can use.
So in the future, you can, if you think of anything that's useful to you that's not already here, you can do that. And of course, there are some functions here that are also supporting one of the newer features we put in the game, like all these safety systems. You can even
like
turn off the emergency
assist,
braking.
Right? Emergency braking. That's
lane
awesome.
assist.
I love that they didn't go only for numbers on the buttons, but also the icons.
Yeah, so that was some feedback from our colleague, actually. I think initially for the first few iterations, there were plain numbers because we thought perhaps it might be more universal for people to assign whatever functions they want to it. But then we had some feedback actually from Sissel, our colleague.
Shout out to Sissel.
Yeah, shout out to Sissel. He was quite insistent that it looks better with labels on them.
Yeah, but now you have like both, so you actually know because I believe when you are going to be mapping those keys in the game, it's still numbers, right? So you need to it's gonna say like it's a key number 39, and you will be taking a look in you can take a look and see, okay, that's a camera probably or mode.
Yeah.
And on the other side, we can even switch it over to sequential.
And that's
sequential. So you can not just use this for full manual transmission. Yeah, so you can move this to the left, and then it goes. Basically,
it goes only forward and back, right?
Yeah, forwards and backwards.
Nice.
There are some transmissions, for example, the Mercedes Tele Shift or something. Basically, it's automated manual, but you have to tell it to shift, and so this is what it does. You can use it that way,
or maybe if someone will use that for playing any racing game or whatever,
that will work
use
as
that
well.
Yeah,
and of course it has the traditional. Let me change it back. Yeah, if you have the traditional shift pattern, you can see it printed on the top. Basically, of course you have the 6 shift gates that you have.
Then you can also change ranges.
Yeah, and then of course there's also an additional reverse gear. But if you're playing, let's say,
like personal vehicle,
that will make a lot of sense. But if you want to play a truck layout, of course you can also do that with the help of the toggles here.
Awesome.
Yep. You can see on the wheel there's just a lot of buttons because
again,
there are a lot of functions in the game now. We keep adding more stuff to it. We try to make it look like it's kind of realistic, like a real vehicle, like on a real vehicle. So you have volume controls, you have skip track.
So it's like usually steering wheels has like infotainment. And,
exactly.
And like
it's supposed to look like that, and of course all their functions work. You can reassign it something else, but we tried to keep the look kind of like what you would expect on a real vehicle. Of course, here you can control your cruise control. Over here you can that's how you scroll through between different driver information screens, reset your trip computer.
And those are, I guess, just extra buttons.
Yeah, those are just extra buttons. You can do anything with it.
What do we have on the right side?
Yeah, so these are kind of for your UI navigation. You can use those. Of course, they also work while in the game driving. For example, these two will be like your zoom for the navigation for your route advisor.
And is this like the distance?
That's the
adaptive cruise control.
That's the adaptive cruise control button. Yeah, so you can see also there's like a bank of buttons here. Those you can control the route advisor, so you can skip between the pages if you want to. Like this one would be useful for multiplayer, for convoy.
Oh,
because
so it's like
push. That's your push to talk, which is kind of like your voice recognition button in a real vehicle.
Yeah, like giving like instructions to the system.
Yeah, and then the next one, like it's like a return button, but it's supposed to be assigned to quick replies. It's like, reply.
Oh, yeah.
But also you can use that as a back button for your navigation in UI. Then there are a lot of other buttons here on the other side. You can go back to your main menu.
And I saw previously a question like, what's the connecting cable? Is it like running on USB?
Yeah, USB. So from the wheel itself, there is USB connection. And the shifter is a separate, I believe it's a USB to the computer. To the shifter is actually a USB-C cable.
Okay.
So it's basically all USB. The pedals connect to the wheels through an RJ45. Is it an RJ45 or is it a phone cable? One of them.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a phone cable. I think it's
either one of them.
The phone.
I believe you can
the smaller one.
You can find the information at the website that Nightbot is dropping probably in the chat as well. Yeah. So
RJ11, yes.
RJ11.
Someone mentioned it. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I will unpack the pedals as well. I can already say they feel very sturdy. Is it the word?
It's very sturdy. So one of the things we kind of gave some feedback on was the weight of the pedals, because of course on an actual vehicle you're gonna have different weights, the accelerator, the brake, and the clutch. Just to make sure that it's good to drive with, we had to kind of iterate a few times on, for example, the pedal strength, how heavy they are, the kind of dead zone feeling to it. So the pedals, they are Yeah, the feel on all three pedals are pretty different, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say one benefit
Absolutely.
of these pedals is that they are using Hall effect sensors. So it's something that works on magnets, I believe, instead of usually some pedals are using potentiometers, which might wear out with time and with use. So these are probably more precise and more durable into the future. So those are the pedals.
Yeah, I can see also the bottom of the pedals are secured, or how to say, from sliding.
Yeah.
The pedals feel really good. This is like metal, and
it's really heavy. We try to press
heavy,
it with your hands, but of course, if you use your feet, then you have more weight to it.
But I believe that's better when they are like really sturdy and heavy for pushing. That's better than if they are just like clunky and
but
easy
you can
to
tell
push.
that the throttle is much lighter, for example, than the
Yes,
brake.
absolutely.
Yeah, so you get more precise control, I would
Nice.
say, especially for the brakes, because for example, you're driving a truck and if you're bobtailing, without a trailer, without a load, it's quite important to modulate the brake pressure better.